Is the US dollar under threat? Comments made by US President-elect Donald Trump regarding BRICS countries may give you the impression that the hegemony of the dollar is in danger and he vowed to do everything to protect it. But how likely is de-dollarization when so much of the world's business is pegged to this currency? To talk more on this, I'm now joined by DW correspondent Varda Imran in Berlin. Varda, these comments were made as a kind of signal to the BRICS countries who've often voiced a desire to replace the dollar. What do you have for us?
Thanks for having me. Well, yes, the BRICS organization is quite powerful. It has some of the most powerful and most populous countries in the world, which make this alliance huge in terms of numbers and sheer size of economies. So we have China, India, Russia, Brazil, and South Africa together, and they have, yes, frequently discussed the idea of toppling the dominance of the US dollar. Now, in 2024, Russia is the chair of this organization and has proposed a cross-border payment initiative where members of this organization will use their own national currencies to trade. This new multi-currency system is in some ways an attempt to set up alternatives to the US dollar. Now, this wouldn't be the first time that BRICS countries set up something like this. They also established the new development bank, which was created with the purpose of using resources for development projects and infrastructures all over the world. So this new initiative from Russia is kind of what drew the ire of Donald Trump, who then made comments warning others to not challenge the dollar.
Varda, the dollar is used globally for trade and the euro dominates the European market. But has the European currency ever threatened the dollar?
So the euro is a relatively young currency. It was introduced in 1999. And at first, it was only used in electronic payments, so it wasn't even a real physical currency in the sense of notes and coins. That only happened in 2002, when the physical currency was printed and 12 EU countries participated in what is called the biggest cash changeover in history. The euro now is very integrated. It is legal tender in 20 countries in the EU, and then some territories outside like Monaco and Vatican City. Now, it's over 2 decades old and has secured a spot as the second most used reserve currency after the US dollar. Now, if we talk about threat, I think the euro could definitely give the dollar a fight. But in terms of actually challenging the dominance of a currency that's been around for almost 300 years is not realistic. But as it is the currency of the European single market and for all the trade, and we're talking huge volumes that happens within Europe, I think it will likely grow much bigger than what it is today.
And other growing important currencies like the Chinese yuan or the Indian rupee have entered conversations about de-dollarization. How likely is this?
There have been some great efforts from China to achieve some success in cutting through the dollar dominance. And we can see this in how they actively promote the yuan for global use. In 2015, the IMF included the Chinese yuan in the special drawing rights, which includes the world's leading 5 currencies. This was a big step in establishing dominance and legitimacy for the yuan. However, this currency comes with its own baggage. We're talking strict capital control, geopolitical tensions that may curb its global appeal. An IMF study from April this year showed that of the world's 11.4 trillion US dollars held in foreign exchange reserves, just 2.29% was in yuan by the end of 2023. Now let's turn to the Indian rupee, which in its current state is only 75 years old, but the Indian rupee has existed for much, much longer than that. India has pushed for payments in rupees, for example, when buying crude from the UAE or from Russia. This protects local traders from falling prey to currency fluctuations. The Indian rupee doesn't have enough global acceptance at the moment, and it has limited liquidity and constraints. But with the right infrastructure, and once it becomes reserve currency, it truly has the chance to really take on other long-established currencies.
Thank you, Varda, for all those updates. Varda Imran joining us from DW Berlin.